Good morning and welcome to Shawnee Mission Unitarian Universalist Church. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are in your life's journey, you are welcome here. If you are new to SMUUCh and want to know more about our church, please fill out our Get in Touch form using the link below in our video description. Or if you're interested in outdoor religious education for your children, you need to use that link as well. Or if you're just interested in learning more about Unitarian Universalism, please join us for our Just the Basics class today after the service. And now, here I am at the shelter, which you'll learn more about in a second, but because I'm going into the church for the rest of the service, I'm going to put my mask on and leave it on. Today, I join you from where else but inside your own beautiful church building, where we put our Unitarian Universalism to work by way of direct support to the unhoused population of Johnson County. It is here, in partnership with an organization called Project 1020, that our neighbors find shelter, food, and support of the community. Together, we are a courageous church. Together, we are a courageous country. Together, we are a courageous globe. Hi everybody, here I am at the front desk to Project 1020. I'm going to give you a quick little tour of this shelter, which is being housed in the church right now. Here we have the front desk. Guests come in, they can charge their cell phone. They can come and grab a bite to eat. Here in this eating and gathering space. Of course, gatherings are limited. And now we come upon a sleeping room. This is a women's sleeping room. You can see the cubbies and the sleeping spots, the air filter. And then here we come upon the storage room. Here we have the volunteer name tags. Here we have a comfortable sitting spot for necessary conversations. And here we have all of the goods that it takes for human beings to exist. Okay, that's it for the tour. There are several sleeping rooms, several eating rooms, a front desk, and a storage room.
The shelter's going really well. Things are running smoothly. We're full every night. But this season has been the smoothest ever. And I think that's due to, we did more planning, but just the support of the church and everybody feeling like they're part of a community. And it's running great. We've seen, I think it's 162 different individuals so far. And then we've probably served an extra 55, maybe 58 individuals, dinner only. I get overwhelmed by the support and the volunteers that we have. And they stop by even when they're not scheduled. Everybody's been healthy. We have not had not one case of possible COVID. I just appreciate the opportunity that you guys have given us and all the support that we've received and the consideration, the willing to listen to us, to help us with needs that we need, to be met. I mean, this wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for you guys. I truly believe that. I think that all the time. I don't know where we would be. And this has just been rewarding and a real blessing for Project 1020 and all the people that we serve.
Let us begin with a meditation. Please breathe deeply in through your nose and out through your mouth. Grounding down into your feet. As I stand here outside of a sleeping room here in the shelter, I invite you to imagine a restful sleep, adopting that relaxed muscle body state. Draw your mind to a time when you were truly restful. Maybe you fell asleep in a pool of sunlight. Maybe you were on a hike. And now remembering that rest is part of what we as a church advocate for, that we as a community can slow down and be sustainable, and part of that is finding peace, finding shelter, and taking breaks. Please join me in our first mantra, either speaking it aloud or speaking it in your head. The work of the church depends on us. The work of the church depends on us. The work of the church depends on us. Take one more deep breath. Come, let us worship.
Last night as I lay on the boxcar, just waiting for a train to pass by, what will become of whenever his time comes to die? As a master up yonder in heaven, got a place that we might call our own. Will we have to work for a living, or can we continue to roam? Will there be any freight trains in heaven? Any boxcars in which rich man? Will we always have money to spare? Will they have respect for the hobo in the land that lies hidden up there?
I join you to light our chalice from one of the cafeteria rooms here in the shelter. Please join me in affirming that love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with one another. Good night, Panda. Panda, good night. Good night, Panda. Good night, Panda. I'll see you in my dreams. Panda,
Yeah,
don't you just love bedtime?
yeah, it's great.
It's that special time of day where you put on comfy clothes and you crawl into a warm bed and snuggle with your stuffed animals and people sing to you.
Animals.
And then, what are those? And then you fall asleep.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's such a special time of day. Well, Panda, I wanted to tell you about something that's a little bit sad.
Okay, go on.
Which is that there are people who don't have a bed of their own that they can go lay down in.
What?
Or, yeah, it's a sad thought.
That sounds so sad.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, like, you could never really sleep, right?
yeah, you'd always be uncomfortable and always on edge.
Cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I brought it up because Reverend Rose gave me some good news today.
What is it?
She said that we decided that church would be that restful place.
That's great.
Yeah. She said that we think it's the right thing to do.
Oh, well, yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah, you already knew that. I knew that too. Because it's always good to make other people around us feel safe and comfortable and full of good food.
I love food.
Well, good night, Panda.
Good night, Sealy. Now I can't sleep.
It's time for our embodiment moment. So all you're going to do is in the same breath, lift your toes up off the floor and look down at them. And then you're going to set your toes down and look up. So your toes and your eyes look at each other, and then they both go out. We're just going to do this 5 more times. This is very, very good for your nervous system. Okay, thanks for participating. We extend our gratitude to those who seek to be of service, those for whom religion means to re-legion, who feel the stirrings of humanity and come together as a community to ensure the safety and support those in our midst who must have their basic needs met. We are grateful to the leaders who stick and stay on the issues they care about. We are thankful for those who do not back down and who keep the flame of universalism alive, demanding that we comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. We are grateful to those who orient us through the difficult questions of justice and direct service, leading with heart, bravery, patience, and love. Let us now do our second mantra. So close your eyes again. Enjoying any peacefulness which you can find in your space. I invite you to draw to mind a moment that has been significant to you here at SMUUCh. Whether virtual or in the church, draw to mind a moment that was joyous, a moment which proved that people here cared about you, a moment which opened your mind or brought you deep connection to your spiritual self. Maybe it was music, service, fellowship. And repeat in your mind or out loud after me. SMUUCh can create and foster space for connection and healing. SMUUCh can create and foster space for connection and healing. SMUUCh can create and foster space for connection and healing. And as always, we rejoice over the exquisite beauty in this world, as small or life-changing as each piece of beauty might be. Please comment in the comment section of the live chat your joy or sorrow. Remember, this moment of sharing happens online and remains public for all viewers joining us today.
there was conflict, and it was not always easy, and people were upset, but we were moving at a very swift pace. We felt a moral obligation to help these folks because we knew that if we didn't, they had no solution.
You hope that it will all be worth it, but the only thing you can do is look forward and see what is the next right thing, because that is faith. That's the basis of moving forward as, I think, a UU. And I think it really challenged us to put action where our mouth is.
Because it's Johnson County, and a lot of people out here don't want to see homeless shelters in their community, unfortunately. And so we had to do some educating there and answer questions. And we had a meeting at our church and invited people in and took them on a tour of the shelter. That type of thing is, I was really sensitive that we do that, and we got great support from the neighbors during that process. And that really kind of turned, because I was worried about it. I thought we'd have more pushback, but it was the opposite. We had a few people that were concerned, but for the most part, we had support in the neighborhood.
We were smart to think of all the what ifs and worry, and all of that was great. But I do feel like it was the one time that, like, since I've been at SMUUCh, which is quite a while, that we've taken just a huge leap of faith and said, you know, we're gonna do this.
Lexa is advancing that they're gonna kind of carve out a place for us, and that 30 is gonna stay. And you know, if I would have thought back to that December afternoon when we were negotiating with the judge and the attorneys about that number, and I knew it was going to be written into, you know, we would have fought harder. There's always the what if and the what if, but ultimately we did at every step of the way, even that day, in deciding whether we were going to blow the whole thing up over the number of people, right?
But as it stands right now, churches can do this now that before a year ago they couldn't do it. So that was a huge success story for this team to get. And they carved out, as Melissa said, they carved out some language that will allow us to continue to do this if we want to do it, you know, without any limit.
When the pandemic kind of hit and we were under lockdown, the city came to the church and the shelter and said, would you all be able to keep the shelter open during the day, because it's only open at night, you know, for the lockdown period, because these folks don't have any place to go. The libraries, the McDonald's, the shopping malls, those were all closed. So it was kind of an interesting turn of events that really, really filled my heart to know that everything was paying off, and that beyond that, we were actually providing a service to the community, because it was difficult to be in conflict with our community.
As of last Tuesday, they had served over 981 guests in the shelter just through the first part of January, and they're going to run until the end of March. So they're having a big impact in the community.
I just want to express my gratitude. It's just an honor to hear you talk about it, and personally really moving just to remember everything that did happen. And I'm just so grateful to you all for that time period, and just your moral compasses and orientations and commitment.
The congregation and leadership of the Shawnee Mission Church will be receiving one of our social justice awards from All Souls. And so we also appreciate your courage and commitment and your service to the community.
Over the past year, many of us have felt helpless regarding the state of our world. As individual people, there's only so much we can do about the issues that swirl around us. And even as a church, there are many causes that we don't know how to affect. We can't reach the border easily. We can't undo the depopulation of the indigenous people. We can't go back in time and change the systems which brought our nation to this point. But we can look deeper at what is right around us. Look to our own community, to keep bright before us the moments of our high resolve, to be stubborn and bold and brave about living the values that we want to see right here in our neighborhood. We are currently in our second winter of housing Project 1020, an organization which supports the unhoused populations in Johnson County. It was named Project 1020 because it housed 20 people, 10 people when it was 20 below. The shelter, as you have now seen in this video, has become an important part of our ministry. And it fits right in because the heart of everything that we do here at church revolves around human dignity. All that we do, all the things that church is, the board, the book clubs, the small groups, the religious education, the pantry, worship, we do all of it because we believe that humanity holds within it a sacred light. That in each and every person there is an inherent worth and dignity, and that includes each and every one of us. For how precious is a single soul? How true is it that looks just don't matter? How able is a single person to bring forth the sacred? How can it be that each of us can become like a flute for the divine? No matter the age, no matter anything, that we all have the capacity to bring forth a deeper compassion that is so powerful that it actually knits up the way our world has been rent by othering and disconnection. For in situations such as these, where there is support being provided for those against whom the fates have turned, there can at times creep in a sneaking sense that we are different from one another. That people who look rich are a certain way, or that people who experience homelessness look a certain way. But I urge us to be stubborn in breaking down the walls that we build up between us, to be stubborn in breaking apart the beliefs we hold about who struggles and why, and instead come anew to the topic of humanity with a much more holistic sense, remembering that that sacred light that shines within each of us is in you too. That even in your deepest struggles, in your dark night of the soul, your moments of being lost, that you are worthy of care and love too. A home, good food, rest, and safety. And from there, remember that it is not shameful to need these things. It is no different for any of us to need those things. Because these ideas of difference between us is an illusion. And especially for those of us who are not currently experiencing homelessness, these ideas of difference are actually an illusion of safety. Indeed, we are more connected than we realize. If this pandemic has taught us anything, it is how intimately connected we each are to the wellness of the whole. For example, right now there are whole nations who haven't vaccinated a single person. What is herd immunity if huge swaths of the globe aren't vaccinated? What is the wellness of a community if people aren't cared for in their moments of need? The whole boat can be in perfect condition, but if there's one hole, we're all in trouble. Perhaps our greatest lesson can be summed up in our reading, the words of Indigenous activist Lila Wilson. If you have come here to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you have come here because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together. Indeed, there is an ancient religious symbol called Indra's web, which paints the image that at each place where the threads of the interdependent web join, hangs a jewel which reflects the light of every other jewel. That each time that our eyes meet the eyes of another, we are experiencing a type of communion. The deepest affirmations that in the face of another we see ourselves. And in doing so, we remember that the work of the church is not just to save or support. We are not here just to give or serve. No, the work of the church is to remind us that we are bound up together, to open within us a deeper understanding and enlightenment about how the suffering of others causes suffering in us, to offer a new depth of understanding of just how bound up we are in the interdependent web of all life. And do you know what? The stubbornness of this shelter's leadership, the church's boldness, the resilience of the guests, this collective heart, this collective courage has reflected light out across the land. People's hearts and minds have been changed. Right here in Lenexa, right here in JOCO, right here in KC, across the denomination, this shelter has caused waves of humanitarianism and hope to ripple out. Our stubbornness around our religious mandates to care for humanity has empowered so many people to be more compassionate. I actually saw that empowerment one night at the shelter on the determined face of a little girl who came with her dad to the shelter to drop off granola bars. I saw it in the fierceness of her gaze as she marched right in to deliver her offering, her knowing that she was doing something good and important. May she grow up and find a community such as this one, which can fan the flames of that sacred fire within her, that fiery sense of duty and compassion that we all naturally hold for one another. When you support this church, when you engage with the shelter, when you make your pledge next week, you'll be underwriting all this good teaching, all this good humanitarianism, all this compassion. For it takes a brave institution, it takes a bold institution to do something as simple as give people a place to lay their weary head. And it takes a stubborn people to really do the work of the church. Now let us sit for our longer meditation. Once again, put your feet flat on the floor. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And we'll start with 5 long, deep breaths. Start to draw your awareness into your body. Finding a peacefulness in the space around you. Doing gentle, easy, painless movement of the body. And now I'll have you draw to mind a time in your life when you worked and your work felt meaningful, your work felt purposeful, your work felt it was in line with your values and the lifestyle that you wish to have. Maybe it wasn't work that you were paid for. Maybe it was the work of parenting, the work of gardening. When was a time where you wanted to put in work to something? I invite you to set that intention for yourself. Set an intention, and we will do this with our third mantra. You can repeat in your mind or repeat silent or repeat out loud. My offering will be given and received in grateful appreciation. My offering will be given and received in grateful appreciation. My offering will be given and received in grateful appreciation. Let the corners of your lips turn up. You can shake yourself a little bit, give yourself some squeezes, especially if you're home by yourself, hugging yourself, rocking yourself, giving yourself nice little movements. Do release the same hormones that are released when you actually hug someone, the same endorphins. Blessed be, and amen. The work of the church depends on us. In the context of global and national strife, SMUUCh can create and foster space for connection and growth. We invite you to give generously to support the ongoing work of the church. The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared values.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry with us in our hearts until we are together again.
From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
And now please join me for the Benediction. Close your eyes, take one more deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And repeat in your mind after me or out loud. The work of the church depends on us. SMUUCh can create space for connection and healing. My offering will be given and received in grateful appreciation. This week, think about that call to meaningful work. Go in peace.